Now, if Rick Ross could bless Meech more so than 50, because they wasn't really making no money off that show.
I can't believe a stand-up dude during his time would suddenly say, I don't want to be here no more. I'm gonna become a rat bastard.
Oh my gosh, you are absolutely not going to believe the absolutely explosive drama that's unfolding in the entertainment world right now between Lil Meech, 50 Cent, and Big Meech. When I tell you this situation has spiraled completely out of control, I am not exaggerating one bit. The tension that's been building behind the scenes has finally erupted into a full-blown public spectacle, and the revelations coming out are absolutely shocking. If you haven't been following this increasingly messy situation, let me catch you up to speed because it's getting more intense by the minute. 50 Cent, never one to hold his tongue, has been out here exposing what he claims is evidence of Big Meech's alleged snitching activities. Yes, you heard that right. Snitching. The mere suggestion has sent Lil Meech into an absolute frenzy, defending his father's reputation with everything he's got. And as if that wasn't dramatic enough, Big Meech's highly anticipated Welcome Back concert just got canceled under extremely suspicious circumstances. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with the legendary figure that is Big Meech, allow me to enlighten you about this absolutely fascinating character. Big Meech, whose real name is Demetrius Flannery, isn't just any ordinary figure in the street culture. He's the mastermind behind the Black Mafia family, known as BMF. We're talking about one of the most notorious and successful substance-moving and money-laundering organizations that America has ever seen. The scale and sophistication of their operation was truly unprecedented. During their peak in the 90s and early 2000s, BMF wasn't just making money. They were generating astronomical amounts of wealth. Their brilliance lay in how they diversified their operations, particularly their deep connections within the hip-hop industry. They cleverly used their record label as a sophisticated front to clean up all that substance money flowing in from the streets. The name Meech wasn't just respected, it was revered. When people heard that name, whether in the grittiest streets or the glossiest music industry boardrooms, they knew exactly who they were dealing with.
2006, the brothers were indicted in a federal RICO case originating out of Georgia.
BMF was the first group that was accused of being both a criminal organization and
have somebody that's been shot and has been the victim of aggravated assault. I mean, he received a serious gunshot wound. That really appears to be.
Now, let me take you back to 2008, because this is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Big Meech received a devastating 30-year prison sentence for his role in running BMF. But here's the thing that makes Big Meech so extraordinary. Even behind those cold prison walls, his influence never diminished one bit. In fact, something incredible happened that would bring his story to an entirely new generation. Enter 50 Cent. Yes, the very same 50 Cent who's at the center of all this current drama. He produced this absolutely phenomenal TV show called BMF, which turned Big Meech's life story into a cultural phenomenon unlike anything we've seen before. And here's where it gets really interesting. They made the brilliant decision to cast Lil Meech, Big Meech's own son, to portray his father in the series. The authenticity and raw emotion he brought to the role was absolutely incredible. Fast forward to present day, and Big Meech is finally a free man. But darling, his release from prison hasn't brought the peace and celebration you might expect. Instead, it stirred up all sorts of conversations about his legacy and the shadowy dealings that defined that era. People simply cannot stop talking about it, and every day seems to bring new revelations and accusations.
Eventually have to have a bond hearing. There were cameras everywhere. It was a scene.
Now, let me spill some serious tea about the ongoing beef between 50 Cent and both generations of the Meech family. This isn't some new development. There's been tension simmering for quite some time. You see, 50 Cent has built his entire persona around never backing down and being, quite frankly, as petty as humanly possible. When he discovered that Rick Ross, one of his longtime enemies, was getting close with Big Meech, 50 simply couldn't help himself. He had to start airing out every piece of dirty laundry he could find. But the situation didn't really explode until 50 started throwing around that loaded word, snitch. In the street culture, there's no accusation more serious or damaging than that. When 50 started pushing that narrative, everything changed dramatically. The tension that had been building behind the scenes suddenly burst into the open, leading to one of the most intense public feuds we've seen in recent memory.
February 13th, the Big Meech home benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic.
Now, I know exactly what's going through your mind right now. How could anyone dare to call Big Meech a snitch when his entire reputation was built on being a solid figure who never cooperated with authorities? Well, let me break down this absolutely explosive situation. It all started when Rick Ross was promoting what was supposed to be this massive welcome back concert for Big Meech. 50 Cent, being his characteristically provocative self, decided to throw gasoline on the fire by posting an image of a rat on his Instagram. The disrespect was simply unprecedented, and the internet immediately went into a complete frenzy.
You took a picture with Rick Ross? Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
But here's where things get really interesting. This isn't just some baseless accusation that 50 pulled out of thin air. According to some very well-placed sources, Big Meech allegedly got entangled in some extremely questionable dealings with a woman named Tammy Cohen. Now hold on to your seats because this is where it gets truly scandalous. Tammy Cohen was actually working as an informant for the federal authorities. The word on the street is that she orchestrated this elaborate plan to help Big Meech secure an early release from prison by providing valuable information to the authorities about other individuals involved in the substance trade. The betrayal runs even deeper because Blue Da Vinci, a former high-ranking member of BMF, came forward and publicly confirmed that Big Meech had indeed been cooperating with law enforcement. When this bombshell dropped, 50 Cent pounced on the information like a hungry lion, using it to further his narrative about Big Meech's alleged cooperation with authorities.
And he went down. And when he went down, he and his brother were sentenced to 30 years in prison.
The reaction from the streets was immediate and intense. The very suggestion that Big Meech, a man who had built his entire legacy on being unbreakable and never cooperating with law enforcement, might have actually been working with the authorities sent shockwaves through the entire culture. This wasn't just about Big Meech anymore. It was about everything he represented to a generation that had looked up to him as the embodiment of street loyalty. When 50 Cent started amplifying these accusations, Lil Meech found himself in an impossible position. Watching his father's name being dragged through the mud was more than he could bear, and he wasn't about to stay silent. He took to social media with a series of emotionally charged messages, calling out 50 Cent not just for disrespecting his father, but for the manipulative way he had been handling their entire relationship. But Lil Meech didn't stop there. He took things to an entirely new level by exposing their private text messages, giving everyone a behind-the-scenes look at how 50 Cent was deliberately attempting to dismantle his father's legacy. The messages revealed a deeply personal side to this conflict that nobody had seen before. In these explosive text exchanges, Lil Meech confronted 50 about several deeply hurtful actions, including the seemingly petty but symbolically significant act of unfollowing him on Instagram. But what really seemed to cut deep was how 50 had started managing Skiller Baby with Rocket, especially considering that Lil Meech was the one who had initially introduced them when Skiller Baby was still completely unknown in the industry. The raw emotion in Lil Meech's messages was absolutely heartbreaking. He poured his heart out, writing, "They just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram, and now you managing Skiller Baby with Rocket when I brought him around you first when you didn't have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you? I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty, and human I go through my own, but I never switched up on you." The pain and betrayal in his words were palpable, showing just how deeply this conflict had affected him personally. But the real bombshell in this ongoing drama came when Lil Meech finally addressed the elephant in the room: his father's connection with 50 Cent's longtime rival, Rick Ross. With raw honesty, Lil Meech tried to explain that the situation wasn't about taking sides or betrayal. It was simply about survival. He revealed the stark reality of their situation, saying, "F Ross, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts." This was a direct reference to their hit show BMF on Stars, essentially explaining that Ross had stepped in to help Big Meech during a financially challenging period. But 50 Cent, true to his reputation, wasn't interested in understanding or empathy. Instead, he responded with his trademark brand of savage trolling. He took to Instagram with a threatening message that read, "What next season, little ninja?" essentially dangling the threat of either recasting Lil Meech or completely canceling BMF altogether. The power play was obvious, and the tension reached new heights.
Yeah. So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
50 Cent's trolling campaign didn't stop there. In fact, it escalated to new levels of disrespect. In another post, which he later strategically deleted, but we all know nothing truly disappears from the internet, he took his mockery to an entirely new level. He started suggesting that Lil Meech would end up on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, writing, "I'll give Mona Scott Young, executive producer of the reality series, a call for him later today." The level of disrespect and public humiliation was simply staggering. It became increasingly clear that 50 Cent was absolutely thriving in the chaos he'd created, treating the entire situation like his personal entertainment. Then came what many consider the final blow. Big Meech's highly anticipated Welcome Back concert was suddenly canceled. The streets immediately started buzzing with rumors that 50 Cent had pulled strings behind the scenes to make this happen, and his response only added fuel to the fire. Never one to miss an opportunity for mockery, 50 took to Instagram yet again, this time sharing an AI-generated clip that showed Big Meech and Lil Meech's faces, edited onto a love and hip-hop scene depicting an intense father-son argument. As if that wasn't enough, he also posted a scene from BMF where his character confronts Lil Meech about his father's guilt. But when people started calling him out for his involvement in the concert's cancellation, he responded with what might be the most passive-aggressive denial in hip-hop history. "I had nothing to do with this, please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." However, multiple sources close to both Little and Big Meech have confirmed that they're absolutely convinced 50 Cent orchestrated the concert's cancellation, and they've made it clear they're not going to let this calculated attack go unanswered. The situation has evolved from a simple disagreement into what many are calling an all-
Who told you you was special? You thought you was special.
The internet, as you can imagine, has been absolutely on fire with reactions to this entire situation. The commentary has been intense and divided, with some people suggesting this might actually be 50's first real L in a long time. Comments like, "Lil Meech ain't have nothing to do with that, this corny," have been flooding social media. Others have been even more critical of 50's actions, with one particularly pointed comment reading, "50 shows me every day why they shot this ninja 9 times. Then there are those who see Lil Meech as an innocent party caught in the crossfire of something much bigger than himself. Many have pointed out the irony in 50's behavior, noting how 50 hates his own son, and highlighting how 50 made a name for himself by sparking controversy. He hasn't grown from that in over 25 years. These observations have led to deeper discussions about loyalty, growth, and the toxic nature of some industry relationships. The whole situation raises some serious questions that everyone in the culture is grappling with right now. Is 50 Cent simply doing what he's always done, trolling for attention and engagement? Or is there something deeper and more personal motivating his relentless attacks on Big Meech and his legacy? Should Lil Meech continue standing up for his father? Or is there more to this complex story that hasn't come to light yet? And perhaps most intriguingly, could all of this drama be connected to larger power plays happening behind the scenes in the music industry? These questions continue to dominate social media discussions, with new theories and perspectives emerging every day. The situation has become a perfect storm of generational conflict, industry politics, and personal vendettas, all playing out in real time for the world to see. It's a stark reminder of how quickly alliances can shift in the entertainment industry, and how personal relationships can become collateral damage in larger power struggles. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your perspective on this explosive situation. And make sure to smash that like and subscribe button for more in-depth coverage of the biggest stories coming straight from the streets. Because trust me, this situation is far from over. and there are definitely more chapters yet to be written in this ongoing saga. The complexity of this situation perfectly illustrates how the lines between business, loyalty, and personal relationships often become blurred in the entertainment industry. The evolution of the relationship between 50 Cent, Big Meech, and Lil Meech, from close collaborators to bitter enemies, serves as a cautionary tale about the fragile nature of industry alliances. With social media providing an instant platform for every accusation and response, these kinds of conflicts have taken on a new dimension, playing out in real time for the world to see and judge. Stay tuned, because this story is definitely going to have more twists and turns before it's all said and done. The culture is watching, and everyone's waiting to see what the next move will be in this high-stakes game of reputation, loyalty, and power.